Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders master their subconscious habits for success, income goals and, above all, happiness. But success isn't just about mindset or strategy. It's about combining both and sealing the deal with a big dose of subconscious alignment, because our subconscious holds the true key to unlocking our potential. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Hi there, welcome back to the Unblock Your Business podcast. Today we are on episode 42 and I want to talk to you today about one of the biggest mindset blocks that stops people being successful in their businesses, and not just that, but also in creating wealth in their lives in general. And that is the idea we have that creating wealth has to be in some way hard or complicated or scary and intimidating. So I'd just love you to explore for a moment. If you sit there and say to yourself now, I could be a millionaire, or maybe if you're already there, maybe I could be a billionaire. What comes up for you when you say that to yourself? Do you kind of shrug it off inside and go, yeah, right, no way. There's usually, when we do something like that, when we tell ourselves things that we don't really subconsciously believe are true or possible for us, what tends to happen then is we get this little voice in our heads going, yeah, right, that's not for me. Or we just feel that we don't believe it deep down. That voice is saying, no, come off it. This is your story. This is your reality. This is where you belong. You don't belong in that millionaire bracket. You don't belong in that billionaire space because... And there can be any number of reasons lurking in the background. Some of them we're really aware of, some of them not so much. But typically what will tend to come up when we start thinking into this a bit deeper is things like, I'm not clever enough to know how to do that. I'm not the type of person who has that kind of money. I maybe just wouldn't know where to begin. I can't imagine what I would do with that money. That level of money feels just too much. Or sometimes things like I would have to work so hard to make that money that it just wouldn't be worth it for me. It would make my relationships fall apart. Or very often with the more soul-centered, heart-led business owners that I tend to work with, money is not as important as living my best life. And I know that to earn that amount of money, I'd have to compromise everything I love, and I'm just not willing to go there. And maybe at the moment you do absolutely believe those thoughts to the core. Maybe they feel 100% true for you, and that's okay. Maybe it does feel like for you there's no alternative but to stay at the income level you're at, and that it is just not possible to prioritise wealth and still have happy, healthy relationships. It's very, very common to feel that way. Or maybe it feels like you'd really love to have more wealth, but you just can't see how. And you're kind of like, yeah, I've worked past all those money stories, but it's just not coming up for me. And you've been trying so hard for so long to earn more, but it's just not happening, even with hours and hours and loads of effort that you're putting in. Maybe you're making something like 2 to 5k a month, but it's just feeling like so much work at the moment. And so you imagine that the only way to actually make more money is to put in more hours and more effort. In our minds, sometimes we're going double the time, double the effort equals double the income. And that's just something I can't do. I don't want to put in twice the effort. This is already more than enough. So I see this sort of narrative going on with entrepreneurs all the time, and they are absolutely true and valid thoughts and feelings that we experience. But the first thing I need you to know is that this is just a narrative loop in your mind. It's just a thought cycle that your mind has got itself stuck in. Some people refer to these things as limiting beliefs. That might be a phrase you come across, but they're basically just the stories that we've learned throughout our lives, either from family or from society or through our own experiences in the past. And they are things that we assume to be true because we've never known any different. They're what we've seen growing up. That's our reality. That's our version of the truth. And maybe in our own family, we've seen people having to work really hard to make money. We've seen people having to put in more hours if they want to earn overtime or save for that holiday. Or maybe they have to work really hard to earn that promotion and they've taken a lot of flack to get that promotion. Maybe we've seen people having to work multiple jobs just to afford the basics. This background narrative is that money doesn't grow on trees. That's a really common phrase for a lot of people have heard growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. You've got to work harder in order to earn more. And there's valor often in being seen to be somebody who works really hard as well. And we've also learned along with all that all the hard work takes us away from family and away from living our lives to the full. So in recent years, the script has really kind of flipped and we've really become aware of having our quality of life and enjoying life while we can and balancing everything. And we've learned that hard work that we perceive that we would have to do to make more money will make us stressed and unhappy. We've maybe seen our families go through difficulties and imbalance because of people working too hard in the past, and maybe arguments because there was such a prioritization of work. It was such a big thing that it just overshadowed everything else that was important. And we've decided that we don't want that for us. We'd rather settle for less and be happy. Thank you very much. We don't want to go down that path. It feels like money isn't worth the sacrifice. So we draw a line in our head and say, I'm not going to go there. Now, I lost my dad when I was 17, and I'm absolutely convinced that work and work stress were huge contributors to his death from a sudden heart attack when he was 44 years old. And that kind of thing, let me tell you, it stays with you. And it really makes you think about your own priorities in life. So I've done all of these thoughts myself, and it's why I've never wanted to miss out on a thing and why I didn't want to stay stuck in a job I hated and which caused me stress. That was like a big thing for me, and I had a long period where I was just, I'm not going to make money, I want to be happy, and that's the way I see it. I can't do both. But the thing is, those narratives do also convince us that there is no alternative, that it's an either or. They have us seeing things in a very polarized kind of way. It's this or that. There's no in between. We say to ourselves, you can be rich or you can be happy. You can earn money or you can enjoy life. And things like good people who have their family priorities straight aren't the people that make millions. So we end up with this very boxed in, very linear kind of thinking. And we decide that we don't want to do any more of putting our nose to the grindstone. We'll just stick with what we know. We'll just keep chasing the clients the way that we know how. We'll keep following what we've seen as this tried and tested route to making money that we've decided is the way to go. Maybe we've seen other people being successful that way and we think it looks like the easiest route, or it's what we've trained to do, therefore we feel like we have to follow that path and that's what we're going to stick with. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with pursuing something if you absolutely love doing it and it's working, but those are two pretty key criteria. And if you hit those, then, oh goodness, yes, that is absolutely the dream. But what I also frequently see is that it's not working as well as people had hoped. But they feel like they have no alternative but to keep flogging that horse. And I see in particular people in service-based businesses actually really starting to resent the thing they loved because it's become this massive, massive pressure. this feels like it has to be the thing which provides their income, and they're putting all that anxiety and stress on this thing which was once their passion, their joy. And they start to lose all perspective outside of that. All the other possibilities just kind of fade into insignificance, and it becomes like this almost obsession, like, I have to make this thing work. So just for example, very recently I was working with a lovely lady who was absolutely burnt out by just trying to juggle her coaching practice with another job. And she was so determined to make this thing work, and she just completely lost sight of a whole other area of potential income in her life, which could have made all the difference to her financial problems. She was so focused on making her coaching practice work that this thing, which had the potential to basically fix everything for her, just completely slipped off her radar. And that's what happens. Our brain goes into kind of blinkered mode, one track mode, and we just can't see the other possibilities. And I see that time and time again. So I would just really invite you today just to take a mental step back from your business for a moment, particularly if it's been a big source of stress for you lately. And just ask yourself, is this the only way for me, really? Are there other things in my life or business that I maybe haven't even considered doing before, which could potentially be new routes to wealth for me? And it may be that those aren't clear at the moment, that you can't definitively say, oh yeah, that could be a thing. But just taking that step back and starting to ask that question can help you to see a little bit outside the box and start to see more possibilities arriving in your thoughts over the next few days. And also, it's worth asking yourself, what scares you about pursuing those things? What's really scaring you deep down? Is it that you don't feel informed enough? Is it just those sabotaging narratives telling you that this isn't the right thing for you? Is it a lack of clarity on how you might go about achieving that? What's going on behind the scenes? The truth is that there are so many routes to creating wealth. It's insane. We just don't consider them. And I would love you to explore that for yourself and forget that story that it has to be hard, because it really, really, really doesn't. Now, one avenue you might want to explore is passive or semi-passive income. In fact, I really recommend that you do. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, pop back and have a listen, because that's all my key reasons why it's so important to build passive income into your life and business. Now, there are many types of passive income, from courses to email series, downloadables, memberships, subscription boxes, subscription services, affiliate marketing, property, books, ebooks, apps. There's drop shipping, things like audio files. Like on my website, I have guided meditations, 5 glorious guided meditations on there. And that's one of mine. And once you know how to do passive income, you can just literally rinse and repeat that process. It just becomes easy. And like anything, once you've done it the first time, it's so much easier. And there's a saying that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And you can absolutely bet your bottom dollar that the average millionaire isn't working like a dog to keep all those streams of income going either. So if passive income is something you'd like to explore, I would really love you to join me in Race to Recurring Revenue, which is a challenge run by my mentor, Lisa Johnson. Lisa will walk you through absolutely everything in that challenge, from coming up with those ideas for yourself and helping you really explore what might be possible for you, to actually going through her system for marketing those ideas and seeing results and how you would get it from A to B, from concept to actually making you some money. And the challenge is absolutely free. It's just 4 days long, and I know it's been an incredible springboard into making tens of thousands of pounds from literally nothing for a lot of people. Now, I'm recording this on Thursday, the 10th of March, and I know that there are already more than 3,000 people signed up and raring to go on learning how to make passive income. Everyone from really established business owners to people who just don't have the first clue about business and have never done anything as regards selling or making money in their lives. So give it a go. You have absolutely nothing to lose, and you never know, you might just find that thing that's going to make all the difference for you. Now, if mindset around making those dreams of yours a reality is something you struggle with and you think that might get in the way, keep an ear to the ground, because I will be back very soon with some very exciting news about something I'm launching to help you start striding forward and making things happen. Things are cooking here behind the scenes to quite literally help you unblock your business. So looking forward to that. And in the meantime, have a great week. I will see you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, Spotify, or your favourite podcast platform. And if you want to dive deeper, you can find me in my Facebook group Unblock Your Business or at www.unblockyourbusiness.com.